Hello, I'm A.J. Gary. I'm the director of the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management. And today we have Hilda Booth with us, and she is our Earthquake Program Manager. So Hilda, let's start out. Tell us a little bit about what you do at ADEM.
Okay, well, I am the Earthquake Program Manager and also the Preparedness Outreach Coordinator. So I get to spend a lot of time in our counties and with our citizens. I visit schools and businesses, just about any place anyone will let me come and talk about preparedness and talk about earthquakes. I show up, we do science fairs and all kinds of booths at different conventions and conferences. It's a lot of fun.
You know, what kind of, for community preparedness, what specific steps does ADEM recommend for people living along the fault line? And you might talk a little bit about the fault line, because I still run into people that don't know we have earthquakes or possibility of earthquakes.
I do too, every day, actually. Yeah, well, we do have earthquakes in Arkansas quite often. This year we've had 43 in Arkansas, 12 of which were on the New Madrid. So earthquakes happen all over the state. It's the New Madrid zone, though, where we expect to have the largest and the most devastating quakes. But I go try to encourage people to be 2 weeks ready. We've always said 72 hours ready, being able to take care of yourself and your family. And that's great if you could do 72 hours, but a lot of people that live in these rural areas in far northeastern Arkansas, after a large earthquake, it's going to take several days just to get communication set up with them and figure out what the needs are and how many people are affected.
You mentioned we have a lot of earthquakes, but they're all pretty small.
They are.
That we have here. But you mentioned the New Madrid fault line, so there is a potential that we could have a large earthquake, a devastating earthquake. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's possible.
About a 25 to 40% chance of having something over a 6.3, which would be devastating to central U.S.
So keeping that in mind, what does ADEM do to coordinate with our state, local, federal partners in preparing the state for this large event?
We meet and we train together. We are in the process right now at ADEM rewriting our New Madrid seismic zone plan, and so is RDOT, Department of Transportation, Department of Health is working on theirs, National Guard, FEMA is working on one as well. And we want to each have our own plans and how they affect our places of business, but how we are going to intertwine them together and how they're going to complement and work off each other. We also do a GEAC, a Governor's Earthquake Advisory Council meeting twice a year, where we get together with people from all over the state, businesses, hospitals, schools, emergency managers, anyone who will come and join us and get into that discussion of earthquakes and what best practices are, what other states or countries have done, and what we're planning on doing.
It's kind of just do a lot of research and study and make sure that we're getting as much information out to Arkansans as you possibly can.
Absolutely. We've got the Arkansas Office of the State Geologist, and that's a great resource. They do a lot of the scientific heavy loads for us.
So what about, you said preparing families. So kind of talk a little bit more about, do they need a disaster kit? What can they do to prepare and be ready?
Yeah, you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. You don't have to go crazy, but it's really nice if you've got some things in your car, a couple of gallons of water maybe, an emergency blanket, things like that in your car that you might need in an emergency, a good pair of shoes that you could walk in for a distance, a first aid kit, those kind of things, and then having similar things in your home, extra medications, extra eyeglasses, things that are going to be important to you. If you've got kids, little books and toys and things that might keep them busy, non-perishable food both in your car and your home kit, things that you can recycle or reuse after about 6 months or a year, kind of going through making sure things are up to date. But it doesn't have to be huge planning, but really important is copying those important documents that you have. Right. We find that all the time after a disaster, people come into the recovery centers and they don't know their insurance numbers or their bank account numbers or all those phone numbers that are in your phone. If your phone doesn't work, it's not going to be very helpful. So we really encourage people to make a family plan, discuss it, and then make copies of these documents and put them in a Ziploc bag so that if it were a flood or something, they don't get wet, and then you have that information.
Okay. Is there any misinformation or myths about earthquakes, and what would you wish that the public can understand better?
Well, mostly is that you need to drop cover and hold on and not run outside, because there are a lot of things that could fall on you. Earthquakes can't be predicted either. So, and they're also not one and done. There will be aftershocks after a large earthquake, and the aftershock could be larger than the initial earthquake. So that's something you really want to keep in mind.
All right. So you're doing some projects now with assessing buildings and that, working with the Central United States Earthquake Consortium. So kind of tell us a little bit about that and what your work is there.
Yeah, we've been working with CUSAC to rapidly inspect buildings that we think are going to be important to us after an earthquake. So schools, hospitals, fire stations, police stations, that kind of thing, places that might be used as a shelter or that house a lot of people. And we're doing it both structurally and non-structurally. We did Greene County and Craighead County last year, Lawrence County and Mississippi County this year. And we're going into these buildings and we're seeing how they're built, how they might withstand from a large shake. And then we're giving the proprietors or the business owners a report that they can use to perhaps get grant money or just to strengthen their knowledge of where they might need to be and what they need to do. But they can also make some really inexpensive non-structural changes, strapping down water heaters and tall, heavy objects that might fall over, making sure your generator is strapped down, and most aren't. So just little things that they can do, all the light fixtures and heavy TVs and things that might fall on people. And if nothing else, it may not hurt someone actually, but it might just cost a lot to have to repair, and the recovery process is slower.
All right. Well, I know there's one project that you work on every year leading up to October, and it's the Great ShakeOut. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. I know you've advocated for that for a while and
Yeah.
trying to get people more interested in
It is. It's
being
just a
part of
fun
it.
way to show you know what to do. All you have to do is go to www.shakeout.org and register. And then the third Thursday of October, or any day that's convenient for you, we're sticklers for rules. You just show that you know what to do in an earthquake, which is drop cover and hold on. A lot of people think you run outside or you get in a doorway, but really you just need to protect your head. Most people are injured when something falls on them. It's also a great time for your business or your family to discuss what are you going to do. We often work in different towns or cities than our kids or our spouse. How are you going to reunite if your cell phone doesn't work?
Yeah.
Having an out-of-state contact that everyone can contact that can bring the family together and give information is very helpful, because sometimes you can use the cell towers will work further away than they will in a disaster area. So just having those conversations, then it's just a great reminder. The Shakeout gives us that it's international too. Millions of people do it, so it'd be so cool to be part of that big group.
Well, Hilda, thanks not only for being here and helping to get the message out to the public, but also I appreciate the work that you do for ADEM and for the state of Arkansas.
Thanks, I enjoy it.
So as we wrap up, I guess the last thing is we really encourage everybody to register for the Great ShakeOut. It starts in October, and be aware if you're in that zone or near that earthquake zone that you're prepared and ready for anything that might happen. So Hilda, thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to our listeners for being here.